What's going on here?
Yeah, this is
I wasn't there in church Sabo, so I got to see it on
this looks professional.
Online.
So
Just
ready? Oh, we rolling.
right now.
Test 1, 2.
1, 2 on the business, bro.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the significance of genuine friendship. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Right. How do we begin this? How do we begin this? This is such a broad topic, right? So many nuances, so many variables in this topic. Yeah.
We started with the whole concept of genuine friendships, and one of the first things that I went doing was what we do in this era. Google it.
Google.
Real.
Right? And I came across some very interesting quotes about friendship. But what stood out is one that says, "Friends are the siblings that God never gave us."
Ooh.
I like
I
that.
said, wow.
I could relate because I had
Friends.
none, literally.
Hey,
You're only child.
Yes,
friends.
Easy.
That's it, yeah.
As
Friends, that's me and Carrie there.
yeah.
Friends are the siblings
Yeah.
God never gave us. By Mencius. And I'm saying, God has a way of helping us to meet people that He knows we will need for the long haul. And there are friends, and then there are genuine friendships. And I think what characterizes a genuine friendship is irrespective of distance or life circumstance, they can pick up from where they left off.
Okay.
I feel so emotional.
You know?
That is so deep.
I
I
cannot
come off with the quote. I didn't hear
The quote.
Really, actually.
Yeah, you just that inside.
Yeah.
Like,
That quote
had
serious,
to
huh?
put that to
That quote
marinate
serious.
for a little bit.
For a little bit,
Yeah, I felt it.
Choosing answer.
Mencius.
World of things.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it too to you guys in the chat.
Mencius?
Yeah. Mencius, friends are the siblings that God never gave us. That's so powerful.
Some kind of Italian poet or something.
Yeah,
I
something.
watch it on different noise.
Yeah, you have to.
I watch it.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's
Most definitely.
totally
Before that quote, I didn't see all our siblings. Man.
Yeah. But
Yes,
no.
I say.
Yeah.
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 It opens the door
It
for me to
opens the door.
consider that possibility.
Correct.
Because this is brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
sisterhood.
Yeah, this is
Sisterhood.
This is
Sisterhood,
this is
yeah.
Real.
kingship.
Yeah.
The siblings that God
Never
Never
gave
gave.
to us. Imagine that.
Thank you.
And-
you.
and
Ladies
for-
and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out. That's the end of the podcast.
Let's see.
That's right.
Let's see. Cut it out.
That's
Cut it
right.
out.
but I want to. Okay, we established this, but I want to talk to you, Tony. I want you to tell us about this group of girls you have as friends, because I see all the stats right on my WhatsApp. You're having such a grand time.
Yeah.
It looks so cool, huh?
And we're talking about the significance of genuine friendship. And
Yeah.
there was something, we had a conversation, and you were telling me of something you and those girls do very intentionally.
Yeah.
Can you go into that a
Yeah.
bit?
I think that's what took it from being, just friends or mutual friends of friends coming together. It's where we started implementing intentionality in terms of understanding how do you think as an individual, and then how does that contribute to the group in general? And then understanding, okay, there are differences. How do we maneuver around that? You know? We oftentimes try to hit things head on when we can and have a discussion, without judgment.
Right.
Sometimes it's kind of get a little messy because, even though, females have a lot of similarities,
Yeah.
there are a plethora of differences as
That's
well.
right.
Girls will be
Especially based on upbringing. Different households. Some may come from nuclear, some may come from bigger families, So stuff like that, somebody might be accustomed to, ignoring certain things. And then there's somebody who's hypersensitive.
Yeah.
I was hypersensitive. And because being an only child, I didn't have to cope with certain behaviors.
Can relate.
You know what I
Only
mean?
child
You
syndrome.
know, the child as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only child.
And then because I started, let's say, observing these internal characteristic issues with me, then I understood this is authentic friendship. You know why? Because it's fortifying and it's perfecting my character as an individual.
That is deep.
Yeah. And all my other
We're
friendships, that was not revealed whatsoever.
Wow.
So
Of
that says
honor.
a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Challenge.
Wow.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
the whole fact that like your friends end up fortifying you.
Yeah.
And that is
Right.
what you see as a whole genuine friendship.
Yes.
Because
Correct.
they bring
It has to
something that
fortify.
adds to your character, not take away.
And
from
I
it.
see that I contribute that to them as well.
Yeah.
It adds to your character, not take away.
Question to Tony. Those friendships, do you see those friendships being valuable, as you just shared, as a result of the ages of your friends? Like,
Yeah.
was it something that was birthed from maturity, or was there a transition from, a level of immaturity into maturity over a period of time? How did it start?
That's a great question. I would say it came from a level of maturity because when we all came together, it wasn't even that long ago. Some friendships have a tenure of like 10 years.
Right.
Now, our group is a subset of close friends coming together to create a big friend group.
Oh.
So there are some that
okay.
has
So
more
it's a collection
tenure,
of friendships.
right? And so those little subgroups could be 2, could be 3 here. When we come together now, we are able to have the authentic discussion. And so now with the ages, I'm the youngest. And
Right.
I'm not that young. I'm the youngest. And with the ages, it helps a lot. You know why? Because one of the closest one in the group, she has had a lot of experience in things that I would have currently gotten through or going through.
Sure.
And so with that, we have a relationship that balances each other.
Yeah.
Because I'm able to keep her, because I still have the kind of youthful outlook on certain things where she would have passed through, but then she's seeing through me that there is a lot of different ways to experience certain things.
Yeah.
And so it reignites and ignites things in us that we didn't even realize we were privy
was
to.
extreme.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the ages has a big significance as well.
But Charlie, my question to you is like, why ask a question about ages? Like,
Yeah, because that type of connection between young people is not very prevalent.
Right.
So it has to have some type of age appropriateness to it,
yeah.
some type of maturity that creates a foundation for that type of relationship to blossom like that.
Yeah.
Because generally when adolescents are trying to build friendships, there's a lot of immaturity, a lot of personal stuff that come in the midst that can create conflict and misunderstandings in the relationship. I mean, it can happen even in mature relationships as well, but there is a level of or would I say ability to deal with those challenges when you are much more mature now. So I was thinking it has to be that Tony and these friends that she has, female friends, are of a certain age, that they have experienced life, they have experienced many different challenges, they know what it means to bounce back even from personal stuff.
Yeah.
So the
Grown
group,
women.
the group benefits
the
from
timing
that
is
type
perfect.
of experience that is already inculcated in these females,
It's true.
Yeah,
So then how do we treat with the younger ones who has not reached that level of maturity?
Well, see, that's the thing. The younger generation is building friendship more on virtual platforms these days, rather than having that
Superficiality
type of, face-to-face, real life, dealing with challenges and learning how to maneuver through that. when your prefrontal cortex is not fully developed,
You're not
you
thinking
you're
about-
not
Yeah.
you hardly have time
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
invest in healing and dealing with
Most
certain
of them
things.
aren't intentional.
Yeah.
They meet
Yeah.
up and, it's just like, hey,
Yeah.
some
talk,
casual
stuff like
thing.
that.
Yeah,
You know,
casual.
okay, you're my friend.
Yeah, and it's based off of, okay, I like this, I like anime, or I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this,
right,
and it's
right.
like we have that mutual thing.
That exact-
But the
And
moment
that's the
you
only thing
hate
that connects
anime,
them, yeah.
the next thing you hate anime now,
Not
right?
that on the surface.
Listen, I used to be a lover of anime.
Hey.
I just use it as an example.
Never liked it.
I did not mean. I
Used to be
did not
crazy.
mean to bring anime
That's
into this.
crazy to me. Really.
Melanie, what about you in terms of friendships? Do you have genuine friendships? What about on dorm and that sort of thing?
I think it also goes back to the age thing, where you start to find genuine friendships more into the later part of your life. Like you come to college, you start to see people for who they truly are and not really the whole primary school aspect of things. Because generally, when you make friends, well, for me, when I made friends in primary school, it wasn't really friends per se I was trying to fit in.
Right.
So you kind of put yourself in all different places. You was in here, you was in there, but it was never really genuine friendships. But when you start to reach like the latter, I think the latter high school, like probably like fifth form, getting to go, you start to see people because like struggles. You out here, you have to study for like 12 to 13 subjects. You going through things. You cannot spend time with people anymore. You cannot do what you want to do. And you see people that still stick with you through that.
Yeah.
And when you come to college and you see people of a different caliber, you start to meet, you see the older folks that speak a particular way, the people that add to your character. There's people that you still have fun with, but yes, at the same time, they still add to your spiritual life.
Yeah.
They still add to the way that you think and stuff like that. So for me, I made a lot of my genuine friends coming here. There's some people that I speak to here, that I deal with here, that I would never expect
Yeah.
the way that they changed my life.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because like you meet people, like for me, I have a friend. I never thought I would meet somebody that adds so much to my spiritual life.
Nice.
Understand? Somebody that would wake up in the morning and tell me, I thought about you, I pray about you.
That's
I prayed
awesome.
with you.
Yeah.
Sends me reels, reels now. Everybody wants to send me reels. You're full
Yes.
of reels.
Yeah.
But most of the reels that she sends me are either Bible texts, some prayer, something, because she
Something that
has
add
that
value.
connection. And
Yeah,
I
that's
realize
the-
the way that it
that's
affects
good.
me,
Yeah.
because I wake up now and in places where I didn't have such of a close connection with God, I have it now. I wake up and I pray. I wake up and I do things and I feel like, you know what? I feel like I should read my Bible. I feel like I should read this text. I feel like I should do something just because of the way that she talks
Motivation.
about her connection with God.
Nice.
How she sit down and she's talking about, I know that she
Look at that
she had
impact.
this issue and she prayed about it and
Yeah.
stuff. Genuine friendships generally come when you hit that college era.
Relatable.
When you hit that,
Yeah,
I'm in my 20s, I'm trying to figure out life kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You start to see friends, you start to see people for who they truly are.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's to me. That's where my
You know-
genuine
you know-
friendship came from.
Yeah, prefrontal
Yeah.
cortex.
Prefrontal cortex.
But she made a very critical point there when she narrowing and says, at the college years, you really have a good open space to develop and nurture these friendships.
Yeah.
That period of time, prior to that, there are a lot of people developing friendships into romantic relationships.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're going there.
Yeah.
We going there?
I mean, I know we're not talking about romanticism, but I had to pull that out because it shows that you are already predicating your love life on a weak friendship foundation.
Ooh.
Because
that's
you're
a whole
already
different
not
one.
at that stage to get and see and use the lenses to evaluate genuine friendships.
Yeah.
So you're already short-circuiting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Wait, just now.
You're already short-circuiting.
I wanted to
Yeah.
go back to
That
something.
is good.
I love everything that you said. However, there's one thing
Okay.
You'd have made mention to it. And it's something that we would all say, you know, when we were younger, didn't really have genuine friendships. I want to debunk that and say that the stage where we were, that was genuine. You understand?
Right.
It would be
get you.
genuine
I
to
get you.
you.
It started off shallow.
Indirect.
It started off shallow.
Indirectly, it is.
In
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
But only
That's a
now
point,
in retrospect, with the comparison,
We see the cracks
you're
in the
able to
picture.
you're able to say, well, hey, this is the better direction.
Right.
This is
Right.
the better foundation
yeah.
of a friendship.
You have friends in different seasons
Yes.
of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it also comes down to the whole when your brain developed.
Yeah.
So you was at that primary school stage, you felt like these are your genuine friends.
And it's
When you reached that high school stage, you felt like
Yeah.
these were your
Correct.
genuine friends.
I would
But
say
when
it
you
was.
reach
But-
when you reach a certain
Yeah.
age and you
They
start to
were real to
reflect,
you.
you realize that look,
Yeah.
they were genuine friends at that time.
at that time,
yeah.
yeah.
But-
that shift.
at that time.
Here's the running theme where all of you guys are alluding to, which is genuine friendships are based on experience. And I
Okay.
cannot have a genuine friendship with you if I've not had an experience with you. And that experience has to test the good, the bad,
and the
and
ugly.
the ugly.
And the ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Tony,
let me cook in there.
yeah. No, it's an important point. A very good comment there, Dominic. But I would just want to piggyback on Tony there, and probably just differ a little bit with saying that at that stage, we can say yes, those friendships are genuine, and I mean I agree with that. But I think the word genuine
Yeah.
Boy,
Genuine.
is already outside
For this, huh?
listen,
of that age group mentality.
listen.
That age group don't know anything about genuine.
Genuinity.
Really and truly, that is just organic.
Yes.
Naturally
It's organic.
organic.
Yeah.
So it just
Connection.
outbirths out of a natural childhood
Yeah, connection.
connection
Yeah.
experiences.
Childhood experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might look
Okay.
at it outside of the box and say, yeah, it was genuine.
Yeah.
But to me, it's more like it was organic.
Yeah.
It was organic. It got genuine.
Was it genuine?
It
It was
got
organic.
genuine over time, as Dominic
That's
speaks
it
about
there.
experience.
That's it there.
Experiences developed over time.
Yeah.
So we are able to assess
That's it
what
there.
is genuine over time.
Over time.
Because there are many people who believe that they are in genuine friendships right now,
Yeah.
but really and truly they haven't even gone through organic stages yet.
Ooh,
Yeah.
boy.
Let me
That's because
let
they
me
don't know.
let me run with that point.
Wow.
Yeah.
And after you, I got a point
Yeah.
to add to what he
You
said.
see what you said about you assess genuine over time.
Yeah.
One of the points we were talking about in our pre-discussion was there are persons who could front it.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
And they
Very well.
front it
Very
for,
well.
They could front it for
For a long time. Yeah.
Very well.
And
too.
you're like, boy,
Yeah.
he genuine, we genuine.
yeah,
right?
we got something.
But you measure genuinity, right? Like over time, over experiences,
Relational equity.
over. You understand?
Yeah.
You're above my pay grade with that word, but
Big words, man.
but I mean, and the reason why I want to harp on this is because you might be thinking you're in a genuine friendship,
Mercy, Jah.
but you don't have enough time to know that.
Oh,
No.
come on now.
You haven't gone through the organic phase yet.
Yeah.
The organic phase is outside of expectations,
Yes.
outside of
Yes.
any input.
Exactly.
You understand?
You've not gone. You've
Yeah,
not
you're
gone there.
screening. It's seedlings.
Seedling going on.
I love that, Ilani.
Seedling friendships.
You're still in the screening process.
Yeah.
And
You're still in the waiting room.
You're still in the waiting room. And I like what Shalom said there because
Yeah.
I started to think about the difference between. I did this on an illustration. The difference between genuine leather and leatherette.
Oh.
And if you look at what genuine leather is
Yeah.
and the components of genuine leather, you can tell the difference of it when you bend it and when it's worked.
All right.
When
Alright.
it's positioned in different
Preach it.
positions.
Yeah, you're preaching now. You're not talking anymore.
Word, boy.
Leatherette. Genuine friendships still have a way of being strong and yet vulnerable enough to show that they were cracks.
All right,
Yeah.
now. All
Yeah.
right,
It's the
now.
same thing with leather. You can tell where their creases
You
with
can
leather.
tell where, brother.
But it's still strong. It doesn't
Oh,
stop it from
gee.
being leather.
Oh, gee.
With leatherette material now,
Right.
then you can bend it all you want. It can look the
Yo.
same.
You preaching
But
next
with
week?
leather,
He on. He's scheduled.
Yeah, it's scheduled.
with leather,
Next
you
sermon.
know where the creases are.
Next one is his, huh?
Then let's talk about that because we have a group of friends here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who has gone through experiences, right?
Okay.
There's these four guys here. Hi guys, we are actually friends.
Real life scenario, right?
Yeah.
This is a real life scenario here.
Yeah.
You know, and
Oh boy.
like in terms of that bending, I remember. Can I talk about it a bit?
That question. I don't really want your permission. I'm going ahead of
Yeah. But just a last indicator.
I feel like, can I talk about it real quick?
Yeah.
Just don't take out too many beans out of the bag. That's all. Yeah.
That's the podcast, brother. No, that's the podcast.
No, because listen to me.
Yeah.
To me. We talking about genuine friendship, the significance of genuine friendships.
Yeah.
I mentioned relational equity.
Yeah.
We're talking about experiences, right?
Yeah.
And Shalon and I, we're really good friends,
Mm-hmm.
very, very good friends. And we shared an experience where there was friction. There was serious friction, very, very intense. Right? He was emotional. I was emotional. It was so bad we had to call a mediator to come between us.
Right.
That's how bad it was.
It was charged.
Watch
It
between
was
you and me while we're one away from the other.
Yeah.
Tension, boy.
It was. Yeah. That's enough beans.
Yeah, that's beans. Let them soak. Yeah.
Yeah. But look at where we are today.
Right.
Yeah.
It bends.
The strength. Yeah.
Yeah.
It bent.
You also value
Yeah.
That's the word
why
we
a
talk about.
mediator was
but
built.
That is the word we
Yes,
talk
yes,
about.
yes.
And we talk.
That's the
Listen,
word.
one of you all mentioned maturity.
Yeah.
We were mature
Ilani.
enough.
Yeah.
We were mature enough
Correct.
to call someone
Yeah.
to get an input. To
Ego
get
aside.
advice.
Yeah.
Because the friendship is too important
The friendship
to throw away
is too important. And
for
after
this.
that,
Yeah.
after that, we grew even stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brotherhood.
The rule
let me
is-
just share a side note of what this podcast is. Oftentimes you might ask yourself where you get the name the beanbag from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might think it's an actual beanbag. But when we were first talking about the title of the podcast, beanbag, people normally talk about the spilling of the beans.
Spill the beans.
Yeah.
So spill the
wow.
beans, right? And we was like, let's not spill the beans because that's drama and gossip. Let's
Right.
save the beans.
Right.
And so we
And sit
see.
on it.
And listen
on
on
it.
So
Sit on them
it's,
beans.
it is this literal place
Hey, Tony.
where you every bean
Yeah.
represents something that you've gone through.
A story.
A story, an experience. But instead of spilling the beans and telling the drama,
Yeah.
you bring it in a place where it could be saved,
A safe
stored,
space.
and ready for planting. Because we believe
Alright.
if you plant what you've gone through, it will reap fruit that could help someone else.
Nice.
And that's kind of what the whole
Nourish.
podcast was
Wow,
meant to
wow.
do. It's
I love
meant
that.
to plant your experience
Right.
and you could set someone else free.
All right.
That was your ideology when you were getting married as well.
Well, yes. Yeah.
That's
you,
deep, boy.
You bring some stuff together.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Hey, that was too deep. That was too deep.
That's
Wow, that
Yeah.
combination, that's insane.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
what about you and I
Mm-hmm.
in terms of we
Friendship.
in this podcast space?
Yeah.
Right. I'm like one of co-hosts.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
much main host, and we had some friction as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't call them mediators though.
didn't call-
We dealt with that.
we dealt with
Watch out.
I thought I said the mediator with the Holy Spirit in this.
What
Yeah.
is this?
But that's good for us to go into though.
Yeah. We dealt with it, and what was really, there were significant moments of it.
Yeah.
One of them was for me
Mhm.
recognizing that, hey, I have to control my emotions. Right? I have to, because when we had our our friction, I reacted, then I pulled back. Right? I was quick with it. Pull back. and then I stayed silent.
Right.
And this Negro will look to, okay, he admonishes the fact that, okay, what I raised up was good, was great, right? But this man started to therapist and was like, so what made you respond? You know,
The way you
Look.
did.
He did the right
The way
way.
you did.
listen to me. What made you,
I understand
you know, went that way?
The man going straight open-ended questions, yes?
Open-ended one
No,
time.
literally, you
But
know.
it was, no, I would have tell him after, right?
Yeah.
But the timing was just perfect because we were already on the call.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
We were on the call already.
Yeah.
Straight the iron while it's hot.
Right?
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
And it was, listen, we reconciled. We come on, there wasn't really anything to forgive, per se, but we reconciled.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving that call. And I was like, I even told you on the call.
Yeah,
I
we-
appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
now I know why God brought us together.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that-
because of how we reconciled. That was
I
so mature,
yeah.
so
yeah.
massive.
Sometimes you shock yourself, eh?
So masculine.
Yeah.
Why?
Sticking up
I love
pin
that.
in that.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Sticking up pin in that.
Yeah.
I like that you use the word mature
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that come of age, man.
Yeah.
Really and truly, you cannot tell me that you and a friend from like young, like if you were younger,
Yeah.
certain situation come up that you will sit down and talk to like that.
Yeah.
I'm telling
Because
you,
people have emotions run so high,
Yeah.
especially
So
in certain
deep.
conversations.
even in
When
men.
it comes to friends as well,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
people just air out and they say what they want to say and they say what they think, and nobody's thinking about how what you're saying
Yeah.
is impacting your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How what your friend is saying, how
doing
that is impacting you.
impacts your friend.
Nothing of that is
Yeah.
coming to nobody's mind. What people want to figure out is that, hey, I want to say my piece.
Yeah.
You want to
I want
say
to get
your
off my
piece.
chest.
Let me
Yeah.
get that off my
Yeah.
chest.
Yeah.
Because to be
Yeah.
frank,
Let me get that off my
to be
chest.
frank, I too grown to be holding grudges.
Like really and truly.
I have other things to be to be studying
Yeah,
about.
you would say that, but
It's hard, but
some
people.
I know.
Holding grudges.
But-
I know.
But let me just tap into that
Yeah,
experience. that you
yeah,
and I
I
had.
wanted to, yeah.
Because it
Ask
was
you about
it,
that.
it was
What about your side?
it was so difficult, right? To ask you what made you respond that way. Because
Wow.
when we were having the friction is so addictive, right? I don't know about you. It's like, let's go at it. You know what I mean? Like, one, you say that, I say it, mine. And I have to consciously say, nah, I'm not on that.
I'm not
gonna do what comes easy.
Right.
You understand?
right.
Your what comes easy is very petty.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and you could
Yeah.
take something that's very simple. Let's say
Blow
we're
it
discussing a new podcast topic.
Yeah.
And it goes toxic because you
Yeah.
mishandle the simple.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you mention about how we handle it on the call,
Yeah.
and we didn't have to have a second call.
No, we didn't.
I have learned, right, that it is much easier earlier, even if it's hard earlier,
Ooh.
than waiting later. Because if we had waited later, we might have to apologize.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
something would have happened, right?
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
toxicity would have caused a reaction somewhere.
Yeah.
And both of them might have to end up apologizing
I've seen things like
because we
that.
mishandled the simple.
Yeah.
It's only simple.
Because
understand what I'm saying?
a ripe
Yeah.
fruit
Yeah.
is still sweet, but a rotten fruit
Yeah.
inedible.
Man.
This is the thing.
Inedible.
We had enough equity.
Yeah.
We had enough maturity to be vulnerable with
Yeah.
each other on
Yeah.
the call because you
Yeah.
need vulnerability
Yeah.
for reconciliation.
Let me ask, this was a video call?
No,
Nah, it's a phone call.
Okay, which is good. And y'all didn't do it over text message because you know.
No, but actually, the point. So we always start off texting, and then I was like, in my mind, I was like, this is not a good text conversation. I was like, bro, can you
Correct.
take a call? Remember, I was like,
Yeah.
can you take a call? Because it's too much typing.
Too much typing.
Typing
Jeez,
friction is
Yes.
addictive
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to get my
Back
point
and
out.
forth.
It
You know what
could
I'm
be
saying?
misleading and misunderstanding.
Oh, yeah, typing
Yeah.
paragraphs.
Because you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
say
exactly.
one
And
thing,
listen, we
and the
debated
tone of-
typing for a whole day.
You reading it in their voice, but you're
Yeah.
reading the wrong tone of voice.
Yeah.
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 And that
So you
was
had a
what
call.
that was what I was trying to guard against, because I would not have a clear picture of his tone if I not hearing his voice.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's amazing that we can write scripts about people in the tone that we present.
Yeah.
You reading their words, not how they're saying
Yeah.
it.
Correct.
And so he might say something, but he might say it in a soft tone. But I read
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
in a harsh tone.
Because
Yeah.
part of you want a fight.
And I responding to the harsh tone I read to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said,
This is how
let,
it
let,
sound.
let me cut the room for misinterpretation. Let me
right.
hear your voice. Let me hear
Yeah.
you say what you say.
Yeah.
Now, some persons don't like that because sometimes you mid paragraph and this person want to call you.
That's okay.
What you calling me for? Well, let me say what I want to say first. But no, but
paragraph already.
no. But what Mickey talking about is difficult.
Yeah.
That conversation that we had was difficult. No, the topic wasn't difficult, but the emotions.
The emotions
were difficult.
attached to it.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't for me because it wasn't for me because
Yeah.
I think because of the amount of therapy I've been through,
You've been through it.
it taught me the
Yeah.
significance of vulnerability
Yeah.
and openness and stuff
Right.
like that, right? So even in my friendships with you all,
Yeah.
I carry that with me.
Yeah.
I have tools and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, from those sessions as
Okay.
well.
And I could
That
tell,
helped me.
I could
So
tell you have a
that's-
lot of tools.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and
So
you're
that's
very
why.
you're very straightforward with why you felt what you felt, where it came from, where
Yeah.
the history of
There must be clarity.
There have
Yes,
to be
yeah.
clarity.
Yeah.
There must be
Yeah.
clarity.
That's the word.
The
right there.
emotions that was difficult for me was just dealing with the tension of the conversation.
Yeah.
That I have to ask you.
Confrontation.
Yeah,
That is it.
yeah. Confrontation.
Confrontation.
And it is
Necessarily,
it is the healthy confrontation where I am asking you what's happening. That's hard for
Yeah.
me. However, I can tell you something. That thing has saved me a multitude of sins. So
Okay.
as much as it's hard, but I do it.
It's
anyway.
worth it.
I think that's
No,
what-
I was
It is
yeah.
It is worth it.
It's
And you know what's
worth
funny?
it.
What's his famous saying? Familiarity breeds contempt.
Content,
Yeah.
yeah.
As in, the more we talking,
Yeah.
the likelihood of us clashing is high.
Yeah.
In marriage, brother,
Yeah.
you don't have to go far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Risk
Every
up there.
day, bro, it has something to argue about.
That would
Correct.
But you're just choosing a battle. So
Yeah.
And
I
it's a choice.
got two things from that little experience with you all there. And that is that in the context of genuine friendships,
Yeah.
Right.
healing is a priority for the friendship to actually be considered as a genuine friendship.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's one.
Yeah.
Healing has to be in the mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it is not clear cut, it is not a genuine friendship.
Yeah.
And two, one of the dynamics of a genuine friendship is that in order for that healing to happen, it is time censored.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you all had that conversation,
Yeah.
you didn't have to ask that powerful open-ended question in a short period of time. You could have allowed the situation to just quell
Right.
And
Yeah.
then
and probably later down ask it, but by that time you'd have committed a multitude of sins in the middle.
Yeah.
So to
I
avoid
apologize for
that,
5 instead of 1.
the healing is dependent on the time sensitivity
Yes.
of
Yeah.
the person who
Yes.
recognizes that it's either a question needs to be asked or a statement needs to
Yeah.
be made
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
could ignite that healing. That is a genuine
And here's the big
friendship.
friendship. With Mikhail, those conversations are easier.
Nice.
Because
Yeah.
I could have asked that same question to somebody who did not go through his,
Yeah.
he didn't have
Yeah,
the tools that
yeah,
he has.
tools that he
And
has,
they
yeah.
say, nah, man, nothing but I never let you in. And that thing will stay festering.
Festering, yeah.
Because you go ahead now. You
Do you?
Yeah, I got it.
What's on the bridge, man?
Yeah.
You needed to know because I cherished you as a friend.
Well,
I
that's
cherished you as a
beautiful.
friend. So
Yeah.
I needed to be vulnerable.
Yeah, that's
with
a-
you
that's
and
a
let
winning
you know,
strategy,
hey,
man.
This is what to the thing. This is why I responded and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You understand?
This not sounding like a pod though. It's not
That's
sounding like a pod.
It's all like,
So like, no, that's powerful.
no,
That's powerful. That's the idea.
Perfect. This is the idea.
Yeah,
what I
that's the
want to
idea.
say is, okay, I was thinking about younger ones, right?
Yeah.
What I would say to those younger ones who hasn't reached, let's say, the level of maturity we've been speaking about or hasn't discovered the genuine friendships, I would say not to wait until you discover or try to discover this authentic, genuine friendship to then start the healing process. Because that healing process is individual. It's not based on a friendship or someone external or a romantic relationship. It's me.
Yeah.
And so if the other person
Right.
is doing the same, then
Yeah.
God, time in. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
true.
that. And one of the things too that, that came out, at least for me with Shalon's point, is that genuine friendships require accountability.
Oh, come on.
Oh yes.
They require accountability and holding each other accountable. Not holding each other hostage with the things that they did in the past,
Okay.
but holding them accountable.
Comfortable, yeah.
For now.
That line so thin, bro. That line thin.
line
That
is
line
Yeah,
thin.
and to be held
Hostage
accountable,
versus
you have to
accountability.
be humble.
Because if I'm keeping
It's
score, if and you can speak from a marriage standpoint, if I'm keeping score, it's problems.
Now it not gonna work.
Genuine friendships
It not
cannot
gonna
thrive.
work.
It cannot thrive. In marriage,
Yeah,
the same thing.
yeah,
Cannot thrive
yeah.
if you keep
Yeah.
score.
No.
So being accountable and holding somebody to account
Yeah.
is holding them to a high esteem and not holding them
Yeah.
hostage by what they've done.
Yeah.
And you would know it's a
Right.
genuine friendship if my friend is holding me accountable and not being defensive.
Yeah.
That's
It's not like,
Yeah.
oh, why you watching
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What's with that?
Yeah.
The
Why always talking
person,
me?
Wait,
Be like, me alone,
Why
you
always
seeing them.
happen?
Yeah, one to you, as you were saying.
Yeah.
You know?
the person who is keeping score, their focus is always on the buzzer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
the what?
Yeah.
The buzzer.
The buzzer,
Yeah.
yeah.
Beep.
Yeah, beep, beep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Or I love
You
that.
again.
And
Because once you're keeping score
yeah, buzzer.
and you see a foul or you see anything,
That's a recipe for problems. though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
time.
those.
Let's,
That's an export.
let me
That's an
also,
export.
let me also add in
yeah.
a word here, grace. Genuine friendships
Yes.
Mercy.
who allow grace.
Grace.
that's deep, yeah.
Because as we were saying in our pre-discussion,
Grace.
we are humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to understand this person has flaws.
Yeah.
I have flaws. Even despite we have gone through or are going through the healing
Yeah.
journey, there is still things that are going to come up.
Tony, you saying that there,
Given
right?
grace.
And I'm looking at the fact that sometimes you can genuinely, a person can be sincerely think that they're doing right and they're doing wrong, right?
Yes,
And I'm looking at what Peter.
Sincerely wrong.
I look at what Peter and what Jesus,
Bring it
right?
back. I was about
And
to
Peter
bring it
was
back.
was talking and probably thinking he giving the most moment.
Mark.
And Jesus look at this man and say,
When you are converted.
"Sit, yeah, when you're converted,
Yeah. Simon.
Strengthen the brother.
Have to have you.
to sift you like
Sift you as wheat.
Exactly. And that fell over my head like,
Sift you as
sift.
wheat,
I hear
brother.
talking to you about something, you talking about sift as
You getting
wheat.
sift.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it really requires giving grace
Yeah.
and not expecting grace in return.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because again,
Expecting grace.
and not
Yeah.
expecting it in return, you know it's gonna come, but you don't have to expect it.
But watch it, right? Watch it. See.
Because if you're expecting it,
Yeah.
then it becomes a score thing again.
Yes, yes.
But
It comes from you for
but
me.
hear this.
Wow.
See the open-ended nature of the grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's open.
Simon, Satan has desired to have you to sift
To
you
sift
as
you as
wheat,
wheat,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I have prayed
Prayed
for
for you.
that your faith fail not,
Yeah.
and when you
You
are
are
converted,
strengthened.
by Simon,
Hey.
by next year February,
Yeah.
you had to be converted. No.
Uh-uh.
When you are
When?
converted,
Whenever.
Yeah.
bro,
Grace.
I'm
That
giving you
process
grace.
is yours, bro.
I know you will.
Exactly. I know you will. I'm not
just
gonna
say,
time you. but I
Whenever
know
you
will.
do get converted,
Yeah.
That's it.
strengthen your
And
brother.
then, and then what?
That's an
That's
open-ended
grace.
grace that
Exactly.
Yeah.
God is willing
Take
to
your
give
time.
you,
Yes.
give you time to
Incredible.
Yeah.
And that open-endedness
Yeah, to
is
develop.
what we call in Bible is what we call that's kairos.
time.
Yeah.
In the fullness of time.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
yes.
could be converted.
Yeah.
Not,
Galatians
not
4:4.
chronos,
Yeah.
as in a time,
Chronology.
a particular time chronology.
And you know what?
Kairos.
But kairos in the fullness of time.
Patience then.
Yeah.
Because then now,
So we talk
I'm
about the
giving you
traits.
the
We
grace,
talk about the
the
traits.
traits.
Traits
Because
of
then
genuine
now,
friendships.
Patience.
we are
Okay.
giving each other
Grace,
the grace.
Patience.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Giving you the
I have
grace
one.
now.
Yeah.
And I have another one too. Another one. Oh, sorry.
Another one, thank you.
Open-ended
I'm
grace.
giving you grace.
Yeah.
And now I need to sit back and allow that seed
Yeah.
of grace.
Yeah.
To
To
grow.
take, I'm not
It
going to
has
be
to.
like, so, what's
Yeah,
going on
yeah.
with that?
Yes.
Yeah,
What going on with that?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
No nagging
just
or
because
snapping
I
fingers on
have
it, yeah.
overcome that, and now I'm giving you grace. I have expectations
yeah.
on the grace,
Wow.
Yeah.
and that well, we can't even say it's grace if there are these
Yes.
expectations
I have
attached to
been
it.
I have been on both ends of that.
True.
Where I have found myself snapping at times.
Mm.
I'm trying to keep a score. And I found myself on the receiving end of
the
being
scorekeeping.
scored.
Score.
And
Yeah.
I didn't realize is not good on either end.
Wow.
Counterproductive.
It's very counterproductive.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I let me just say
Open-ended
this.
grace, though. I love it.
Open-ended grace. Patience.
Yeah.
Grace, patience.
It had another one
Yeah.
though.
Support.
Say one after
Yeah.
one.
Support.
But I just want to support what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
It is very difficult to be in a friendship with somebody who you know watching you like that to
What?
keep score.
As they say, walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Walking on tightrope.
You can't
Like,
feel
it's
like the person
like
is
I just
feeding
wait.
you for long.
Yeah.
Correct. I just
Not
waiting
like
for you
that,
to
like,
mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary.
I just waited for you to press the buzzer.
It's giving me
Yeah, buzzer.
anxiety to
And
be.
because of that,
I just
and
waited for
because
you to
of
press
that,
the buzzer on me, so.
correct.
Yeah.
And because of that, here's what happens. It's very difficult in response to be vulnerable with somebody who you know
Like
keeping
that.
score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now I just giving you ammunition.
Yeah, you have walls.
You have walls, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to give you more to press the buzzer. Trust issues.
But guys,
Bruv.
I wanna throw 3 things in there. From daddy issues to trust issues. But there's three points I just want to make here. Well, not 3 points, but 3 things that came out in a sermon that I heard some time back that I think has relevance.
Yeah. Okay.
And it speaks about the 3 types of people. And it gives 3 groups of people. And the first group is confidants. Right? And confidants are people that are in your life unconditionally, genuine friendships.
Nice.
And then the second group is constituents. They are not into you, they are only for what you are for. They are what you are for. They are your constituents. As long as you are what they are for, they will walk with you. But never think that they are for you. They are just only for what you are for.
what you are
Mercy.
for.
And then the opposite to that is the comrades.
What you for? What do they for?
Yeah. And the comrades now are the people that are not for you. They're not what you're for, but they are for what you are against. So another thing,
That one do.
So another thing that we need to understand is
Yeah.
just because there's agreement
Yeah.
doesn't mean that there's genuineness.
No.
And just
Right.
and disagree on
Exactly.
doesn't mean
Exactly. So just because we're on the same page doesn't mean that we belong to the same chapter.
Just
Right?
imagine you begin to date someone based on a camaraderie.
And mistaking it for a confidant.
You
You have a camaraderie relationship.
We just
with
do
a
like the same
confident
thing.
mindset.
Yeah.
And
there are a lot of them out there.
I don't know if you all know that Adventist song, "Oh My Comrades." That just messing with my mind right now. That just, oh my comrades, that just messing with my mind right now, because that definition of comrades and friendship is, that is
Comrades.
No, but that's a war. That's
a war cry, you know.
yeah, it's a war term.
We
My
don't
comrades.
necessarily do the same things, but we
have a common enemy.
Yeah, we have a common enemy.
Yeah.
We have a common
Yeah.
enemy.
enemy. You know.
Your enemy is
And
my
so,
enemy.
Your enemy.
no,
Yeah,
and,
so
and
like
then it
mutual
opens the
agreements.
door that when we defeat that,
Yeah.
then what is this?
Exactly.
What is
What is
this?
left?
Yeah, that's it.
And we will only-
That's it.
if there
That's
is
it.
no enemy,
Exactly.
what is this?
That's it.
Expression of the friendship.
Yeah.
As long as the common enemy is still alive,
Yeah.
the friendship lasts.
So if
Oh, boy.
my
Mercy.
friendship,
Relationships like
if
that
my friendship
might work.
started based on I'm losing a loved one,
yeah.
and let's say I have now come out of that devastation,
Yeah.
and I'm no longer in a space where I only complaining or probably
Moping.
talking about this,
Yeah.
moping or whatever. What
What
did
friend
we
good
talk
for?
about?
Exactly.
We talk about. Oh my.
Have you ever had a friendship like that there? Where every time you speak to this person, there's a certain there's like an expectation of how the conversation is supposed to go, because there's a tonality to it. It could be something negative, for instance, right? Where you have to, it's always a negative issue that's happening. And sometimes I wonder, are
called
those
it's
friendships
called
really
trauma
not friendships,
bonding.
but just comrades?
That's a friendship.
Where we have a common enemy and we just speak about something that we just don't
That
like.
would go back to when our frontal, wasn't fortified. We thinking those were genuine
this-
situations, and
That happened all the time. Like high school, there.
Yeah.
Like you don't
Yeah.
like this teacher, so all of all you don't like the teacher, so now all
Right,
of
so
all
you gang up and you
because
hate
don't
the
like
teacher.
They're grown up kids.
Yeah.
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 I think it happens as well.
It happens.
You see it happen in older friendships
Yeah.
where we don't like this political leader, so now
So we-
all of us don't like this political leader. We don't like this party. We're friends now.
So we follow
each other,
we
over
friends.
negativity.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So friendship,
yeah.
I love that you made that point, Ilani. So friendship now, or what we perceive as friendship, is germinated at the point of negativity that is shared.
Yeah. So
Right?
it goes back to the camaraderie.
Exactly. And that's why you need to understand that similarity does not always mean a true friendship.
And it does not mean a true
It's
love
not.
match.
It's not enough.
And it does not mean a true
I
love
think
match.
that just
Correct.
happens when you try to
You're just
watch
fine,
the
man.
screening process.
Yeah, I
of a
just want to say that
Exactly.
one thing because
Don't
you
get
know
caught
that
up in being
say, you
similar.
know that I say, but he's a nice Adventist girl. She's a nice Adventist girl.
No,
He's a nice
similar.
Adventist man. Does not mean we should be together.
Exactly, and that's why I love that you mentioned that. I love that she mentions that because I don't know if you guys ever saw the picture of I think an onion,
Yeah.
and a piece of it is cut out, Kerry, and then I have a piece of a Portugal or tangerine
Replacing it.
stuck in, and it
Yeah.
said just because you fit doesn't mean you belong.
You belong.
And
Yeah.
there are a lot of us that are in camaraderie,
Point.
Ladies and gentlemen,
camaraderie
And
relationships
With
with confident
Beanbag
expectations.
Podcast.
Hey,
Mercy.
And because we think that it fits, it belongs, it does
It's
not
sweet.
belong.
No. Let's
does
run
not
that back
belong.
real quick.
Uh-huh.
Not because you fit doesn't mean you belong.
hashtag
Word.
everything.
That's the truth.
In the chat right now.
Let's go back.
Yeah, I
to
saw a picture of that. It was powerful.
Yeah, you saw it.
I saw a picture of that. It was
Yeah.
powerful.
Let's talk about one.
I love it.
Let's talk about one. And this is my favorite one. Favorite trait. Sacrifice.
All right.
Yeah, that's a big one, huh?
The extra
I'm
mile boy.
starting to see like
That's a
this
big one.
friend, this
That's a big
authentic friendship is reflecting a lot of Jesus characteristics.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
For sure.
I sacrificed to come down here this
I love
weekend.
that.
I come from quite Sanssouci.
No. Bro, that's is a sacrifice.
That's a
You guys are telling you?
Of gas and time.
Burnt offering,
Yeah.
alive, alive,
Alive offering.
sweet smelling savor,
No. Let me give
sweet smelling savor.
give those of you who don't know how far Shalon came to make this podcast, right? Shalon came
Google map it.
from
Actually, open it.
you know where the campus is, and you know where Sanssouci is.
At the ends of the earth.
Matlot, because he's the pastor of the Matlot, the Sanssouci,
Sanssouci Paradise
Grand
District,
Riviere,
yeah.
Toko District.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, in common terms, we would say that's behind God's back.
Yeah.
The hairy part of God's back there.
But
Yeah.
it is beautiful. As a matter of fact, you go there and you don't even know that you're in Trinidad.
you're in
So
paradise.
I'm just saying, Sharon, big one. That's a sacrifice.
Yeah,
That
boy.
is a
It's major.
sacrifice.
Beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
sacrificial. I love
So you could have been home with wifey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God the wife, he come too.
Tell us more about that sacrifice, though.
Yes.
Together in matrimony, you have to travel together.
Listen, they're not your friends if they're not worth sacrificing.
Wow.
Nice. With.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I want to pick
That's
back.
a tough one though.
No, because
It's deep.
No, we've sacrificed a lot.
Yeah.
Remember when
Sanity.
there was this time,
Kidding.
right? There was this time. Kerry's there. Kerry sat down there. He's editing the podcast. I came and sat next to him. Church had just finished. Right? Sat next to him. And we sat there, we talking. We stayed there and then we went outside. We stayed in church from church finished till the end of AY. We didn't eat, didn't drink anything.
Wow.
We just talked. A sacrifice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a
time.
sacrifice of
Yeah.
Time.
And time is
sat down
valuable.
time, brother.
Yeah.
And we talked.
Yeah.
Right? First we had on our suits. Later on, our suits off, tie off.
Yeah.
Welcome.
EY start.
Deep income.
AY start. We sat down there
Yeah.
and we talked for hours. Men belly griping.
Robin.
But
You're not gonna do that for anybody.
No, come.
going to do that for anybody.
Yeah.
For
yeah,
no,
no,
come.
Yeah. No, come.
No, come.
For no, because I see you, I
Value. That's
Value.
right.
We
Value.
filters.
Yeah.
Nice, only because them roots strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
will
can
do it.
bring up scenarios with all of us, even with all four of us.
Sacrifice, bro.
We've sacrificed between all of us.
Yeah,
And for me, that is my favorite trait.
love it.
Yeah, because that is how I know if you really are my friend.
There's a measure I normally use too that is called I look for movers. No, don't think it's positive. Movers are people, they're not committed. So I will see if you're a mover is somebody. If I say you're a mover, that means I can't depend on you.
Yeah, because you're shifty.
Yeah, you shifty,
You shifty.
bro.
Yeah,
You're not sacrificing.
Yeah.
They say can't depend.
Yeah, it can't
Like
depend on
shifty.
you.
You know,
Yeah.
it's actually opposite for me.
Yeah,
Serious.
a mover. Because okay,
You
let
get things
me further. Let me no.
break it down.
It's not a mover as in somebody who's an executionist.
Okay.
No.
He don't
It's somebody
like that,
who move.
Yeah.
Or they
yeah,
easy,
yeah.
or as you say,
Yeah,
shake.
yeah.
Like what the Bible talks
Yeah,
about.
Right.
yes, yeah. A double-minded man,
Double-minded man.
unstable.
Okay.
But it is okay. I'm doing this, and
Feeling
I can't
secure.
depend on
you just shift your shoulder.
Yeah, bro, I can't depend.
You're a mover.
There's a point.
And so
I can't depend.
I reach a stage in my life, particularly past the college, you're paying bills now, you have rent, and you.
Yeah,
You gotta learn
Dominic,
to-
why?
That's how I say.
You adulting.
Yeah, you
Cry every day.
you fully adulting,
Fully
and
adulting.
you're in a stage in your life where you cannot afford to be around people who are movable.
You talking there about values or just general?
People who are not sacrificing.
Okay, general people who not
Yeah.
sacrificial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
People who are
okay.
not
Yeah,
dependable.
because it's like, boy, I want to be immovable for you.
Yeah. I want you to
nice.
trust me. I want you to trust my word.
Yeah,
So what's the trait?
I want you to
What's the
trust my
trait?
word.
So we talking about sacrifice.
sacrifice,
Oh,
sacrifice.
right.
It's just a
It's-
support.
yeah.
But
Wonderful.
a part of that sacrifice is, am I that shoulder?
Yeah.
Can I-
Am I
No.
dependable?
Can I stay here?
Yeah.
The shoulder you need and the shoulder I need is two different shoulders.
It's like dependable.
Yeah.
Dependability
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, it's dependable.
Yeah, that
Be-
sounds like
Like,
dependable.
can I stay here and
Yeah.
know that look, you have me.
Because
Yeah,
when
exactly.
and notice how those 2 points are cousins, right?
Yeah, they are.
If I want you to be reliable for me, in essence, I'm asking you to sacrifice for me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And if I'm seeing that you're not doing that, then it's instructive.
Okay, so let me ask: are you saying that you are looking our mover is somebody who is not just sacrificial, but they pour into you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
mover?
Yeah.
All right, so here's what, right? It might get a little messy
Go ahead.
because today you may get all different types of movers. You may have different levels of movers because you have a type of friendship that is very popular today because of people's life schedules, all of these different things.
Yeah.
And the simple term for it, as you would see out there in the language, is low maintenance friendships.
Oh boy.
So I was just waiting for something to hook that on, so I'll hook it on to
hook
this.
it onto that.
I like that.
Because that is
Well,
just
just now he had
that is just
fella
was
beans in
similar.
his
He was
hand.
waiting.
no, I was just waiting. I was just waiting. Yeah, I was just waiting for the right hook.
Yeah.
So I could hook that there now onto that because
Yeah.
Maintenance.
the mover is a great person to have in your circle. I understand that.
Yeah.
But how do you navigate and try to have genuine relationships in a culture, this postmodern culture, where people have priorities?
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
Right.
All different levels of priorities. All of us sitting here.
Yeah.
We didn't have to be here
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
People have different priorities.
life, eh?
Yeah.
How do you now try and consolidate all of these different demands
Yeah.
that people have
Yeah.
and still see a person as being genuine, even though they are not really reliable in that way that you would want?
Yeah.
Because today you would see these influencers coming up on their TikTok reels. Can we just normalize low maintenance relationships?
Yeah.
Like adults, I'm
Yeah.
busy. I have this to do, whatever.
Yes.
If I check in with you next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that should not be a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
here-
yeah,
here-
yeah.
here's-
That is a big thing.
I saw.
Yeah,
Let's start with it. Yeah.
that is a big thing. Do we vilify that?
Right. So here's my answer to that. The general response, the general answer is yes. We can have a remedy to that. through communication.
Okay.
But let me explain. So we live in a culture that is grounded, or I could even say it's tainted by canceling
Right.
when it's not convenient for us.
Right.
Right. So we have that cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
So if I realize that you want a kind of vibe and my vibe don't agree with your vibe, that's the language now. Then I block in and delete
Block
you.
that, yeah.
I forgetting that you exist, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, that's an unhealthy approach.
Right.
We know this. Reason being, it doesn't solve the issue.
Mm-hmm.
It just hides the issue. And when I say communication can be the antidote for that, what I'm saying is that when we have pointed, intentional, vulnerable communication, we can arrive at a point where we can deal with that issue.
Even if it's every fortnight
Probably even if it's
or every
I want to ask
every
you-
3 weeks.
I want to ask
Because
you,
I agree, Dominic, you know.
Why you-
But
what
I come in, I need to challenge him. I need to challenge him. Every fortnight, I check in with you in my WhatsApp. How things?
everything good?
Do you still see me as what's the term?
A mover.
A mover. Do you see me as a mover? If I check in with you
Okay.
only 2 weeks,
So you're looking
every
at,
2 weeks for a month.
you're looking
weeks or
at
every once in a month.
frequency.
Yeah, I'm doing my
You're looking at
masters.
frequency.
I'm doing my masters. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I just got married.
Yeah.
Do you vilify me if I don't
that.
check in with you
Correct.
Well,
Yes.
I'm-
every 2 weeks or something? That's well, right. So you need to be real about that.
No.
Because
Yeah.
no. This is presently this is presently happening. Yeah.
One of my favorite sayings.
Yeah, Tony.
Quality over quantity.
Right,
Because
okay,
you-
right.
Because then now, yes,
Yeah.
that's just being realistic. We are doing things.
Yeah.
Things are being done.
We need to
Right.
talk about a trait.
When I come home from work, I'm drained. I've been dealing with human beings all day.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Say it again.
I- Yeah.
Dealing with human beings.
Yeah. You know?
Different
And then-
characters here
Because
and
even
there.
as an extrovert, I need a quiet time.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have a million group chats. Some of them you have to prioritize because it could be a program you put
Disappearing.
Only group chats messaging, you know.
Listen.
Some of them archived.
Disappearing messages have been activated.
To grace.
Yeah.
All messages will be disappeared.
I am traumatized. But no, watch wait, Tony. I am traumatized by group chats at this point.
Facts. I have never been in so many group chats.
Carolus Leslie changed the settings to only allow admins to talk.
The
Announcements only.
description in the chat has changed.
Announcements only. Only admins can post.
Only admins can post.
I wanted to talk. You see what you mentioned?
Yeah.
People have priorities.
Yeah.
And when you talk about a mover in the context of someone who has a life,
Right.
you understand? They have
Right.
things going on in their life.
Right.
I'm saying, boy, it's not a sacrifice if you don't have other things going on.
It's not a.
Sacrifice.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I love it. I love that. I love that.
no, that's powerful.
Sacrifice must feel like a
It must
Yeah,
feel like a sacrifice.
yeah.
For it to be a
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
You can't
So,
fake
so if it's easy,
You can't fake sacrifice.
so if it's easy,
Yeah, B.
so if it's easy,
Is it a sacrifice?
no, like if it is easy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Easy come.
No.
if it's easy,
Yeah.
Easy come.
is it
Easy go.
Yeah.
is it
Is it-
worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's
No, I have to
easy,
sit on this.
Yeah. You gotta sit on it.
yeah.
We evaluating.
Certain
Have
things
been
now.
moving
Right.
lately.
No, because honestly,
Our dispute.
yeah.
Our
Right.
dispute where we had to bring
Right.
a mediator.
Yeah, and only that,
On sacrifice.
not only that,
Okay.
this weekend, when Michael told me about the pod and whatever, I sat evaluating the logistics
Yes.
and
Ins and outs.
it wasn't easy.
It wasn't
Yeah.
easy, brother.
I didn't just say, yeah, no scene.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, I had to
Yeah.
weigh
Had
the
priorities,
evidence.
brother.
I had to weigh the priority.
You have to see pros,
I had it-
cons,
yeah,
whether it's
everything.
for you, whether it's in for you.
I don't
Because you're
wonder-
trying to make it's a sacrifice that you're making.
Correct, I don't
Something
wonder-
away from your daily.
Yeah,
thing,
from the
something-
norm.
Something away
Yeah,
from the norm.
from
that
the
you're going
norm.
to do
Yeah.
Yeah.
For your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must feel feel that tension.
It has
Yeah.
to check your chest like 2
Be-
seconds or
You have to feel
something.
it.
Because a sacrifice,
man.
a
You have to
sacrifice.
feel it.
Go ahead.
But not saying no, crucify the person
Yeah.
if the sacrifice really can't be made
You have understanding and grace.
at.
Well, that's where grace comes
Then we
in.
come with the
That's where grace comes in.
Yeah.
You
That's
understand?
what I said.
But-
That's what I said.
But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
sacrifice, right? Sacrifice when you have priorities says to the person who you sacrifice for, I choose you.
Yeah, I choose you. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not about to me.
Yeah.
Sacrifice is not about frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really about you choosing
Yeah.
what is valuable to the one who has made the
And
request.
putting that
And-
above.
Yeah,
and
choosing. You're
and
choosing.
Above your feelings.
Yeah, you're choosing.
Here's the sermonic moment.
Oh gosh.
That's what God, when God requests, God
Yeah.
knows you have priorities.
Yeah.
And God saying, listen, I just want you. Yes, I know you have work, you have whatever. Choose me.
Yeah.
Preach,
And
pastor.
God watches. God watches how you prioritize.
How you prioritize.
I
Mm.
love
True.
it. You know why?
Yeah.
Because God could have been Gordon in heaven, but He made the time to commune with Adam.
He
and
made
Eve
you
in
a
the garden.
priority.
Yes.
He come to them.
The
you know.
busiest of
He
the
came
busiest
to
of God,
them.
huh?
Yeah.
The busiest of the busiest.
Priority.
God.
And
God
God
has so
still
much
makes
things doing.
the busiest of the busiest God.
I'm
He still
telling you.
makes time.
I'm telling you.
The busiest of the busiest.
Adam, where?
Makes
And
time.
he's seeking your friend, eh?
And
He's
seeking,
seeking
yeah.
The
Adam.
busiest
Where
of
are
the
you?
busiest.
I'm in the
Yeah.
garden.
Yeah.
Let us pray.
I want my
Adam,
time.
I prioritizing you.
Yeah.
Where you at, bro?
You are-
I come down and
The
check.
busiest of the busiest.
Busiest of the
It comes-
busiest.
Let us pray.
it comes down to-
That's it.
It comes down to the street.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen. It comes down to the street.
Another
this
one.
street.
This street.
Intentional.
This street.
Yeah,
is
it
a
has to be
holy
intentionality,
street.
that's it.
Street.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
This street.
Yeah.
Intentionality, that's it.
Oh, yes, that's
Proverbs
it.
says a wise man chooses his friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Solomon said that.
Yeah.
His friends don't choose him, you know.
No.
A wise man.
Let me just give us a brief history in terms of four of us. Men's ministry program going on, right? Men's ministry program going on. I'm sitting there. It's not coincidence because Kerry and I during that time and even before then I probably sat down by him once, but we weren't friends. We were acquaintances.
Nice.
It wasn't a coincidence. Kerry is sitting down next to me. We're taking in the program, the men's ministry program. We keep seeing the men of all age groups talking about how lonely they are. You
Wow.
know,
Yeah, that's
This man is an island talking about basically the priorities basically work, not much about their social life, right? And Kerry asked a question. I think it was specific for our age group when they reach our age group. I can't remember the question. You remember it?
How do you go about building community?
Right.
What's the question?
That's the question.
How do you go about
How do you
building
go
that?
about
Building
building community?
That's the
Community.
question.
Yeah.
And it hit me because I was intentionally working on my social life, right?
Yeah.
I intentionally work on all aspects of me, emotionally, spiritually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Separate them, work on them, right? So here I am working on my the social aspect of me. And I said, I told myself, I need friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need quality, genuine friends. And I told myself, let me choose. We talk about intentionality. Let me choose the best men I know and be friends with them. Form this WhatsApp group. I chose these guys.
You know, people don't know they could do that.
Powerful.
Choose people.
Yeah.
We
Choose
the
the friends, yeah.
You
Yeah.
can choose your
You know,
friend.
it has people who don't know that.
think whoever you have,
they
you have?
just stumbled upon, you know?
Yeah.
They just
You can choose
stumbled
your
upon.
friends.
Stumble up.
Oh.
Sometimes it happens like that, but you could also.
You choose your friends, yeah.
I choose
Fancy
these
like-
guys and
I
we
think
form this
we've-
WhatsApp group.
With how people are, how as human beings, we so want acceptance. We tend to grab at the easiest thing and we don't look for the genuine friendship.
Yeah.
It generally tends to be the hardest things to find.
Yeah.
So because we look for somebody to accept us for this, somebody that can give us a little comfort here. But all these things are temporary because they are always friendships that never pass the screening stage. Son.
Yeah.
So like when you sit down, and it comes back to God, using God as your basis.
Yeah.
You sit down and you contemplate, you sit down and you talk to God, and you find those genuine friendships make a difference. You know?
Yeah.
It makes a
God
total
aligns things you can't even understand.
But it's a I think the men's ministry program was talking about, like, it was a cry of men through the ages, right?
Oh, okay.
And I remember when I was coming from getting my I think with my first vaccine shot. I went down Miaro for that. And as I'm driving, I took the whole back road to come all around the island. And I'm there alone, and I'm just thinking, boy, let me just call some of those friends I had during my college years. And I reached out particularly to the men. And boy, it was as if these men were like, yo, let's do this again. Let's meet again. The men form our next WhatsApp chat. And who we could bring. I just let them down because I ain't meeting as often. You know what I'm saying? Because, well, I have priorities. Oh, shit. I'm a mover, but you know, it's funny. You could be a mover for somebody, you know, like, you're not sacrificing the same way in particular. But I just remember how it was a cry at that time, because in COVID, you did not have, it was accentuated how much personal connection was valued. And it was like, wait a minute. Oh my goodness, can we do this again? There was this thirst for it. I mean, I as you say, I'm sitting on this podcast and I'm like, let's
I have another trait.
Sit down on this blue
And it could be piggybacked on some of the things we talked about, but I just want to specify it.
Hey, so
Where's that?
it's about this.
I think this thing is 3 episodes.
Just one it's simple but profound. Self-control.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the reason why I say self-control is, you know, in retrospect, in these situations that may have occurred in each of our lives,
Yeah.
that is the aspect in where, okay, I bite my tongue here. You know, because it's connected as well to emotional intelligence and all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
But just that self-control. You know, it have times where it could be petty. We just choose not to.
Yeah.
I hold it back.
Yeah.
You had, remember you were saying you had that. You rebuttal and
Listen,
you
you're
pull it
saying
back.
that, and I'm thinking about the
the quick pull.
I pulled that back so fast.
Yeah.
I kept my peace, hold my tongue, and just let him. And he's such a good friend that he knew something was wrong with me, because I stood quiet, and I was just listening to him.
Look
And
at
I was
that.
like, nah. He already knew that. Hey, something happened here that made him ask the question.
Yeah.
And we
So
dive
take
into
time
it.
to
So,
get to know how your friend ticks.
Yeah.
Which is a factor of time.
Yeah. And intentionality.
Genuine
Intentional.
over time.
Really should.
Intention.
Not getting that so quick.
Yeah.
It comes over time.
It's true.
Time,
Vulnerable time.
I think that's one of the greatest attributes to a good friendship. Time,
Yeah.
That is how you would know.
Learn it
Well,
hard.
ladies and gentlemen, the time is fast spent.
Yeah.
Time is
It is.
It was really
It
nice.
goes to show how much.
The fact that I could leave this podcast and go home and do some introspection.
Boy,
It says a lot.
girl,
It says a lot.
I got homework on my mind right now. My to-do list on my mind.
I know how to sit down on the
homework.
that I have
I
friendship.
got homework.
Yeah.
Really and truly.
I got some
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah, we good. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but that
Oh, we have a clap thing.